Hello everybody and welcome. We are going to be taking a look at Headquarters World War II and having a quick review, so hopefully by the end of this you will know, is this game worth your money and time? So, Headquarters World War II was released on the 12th of April 2024 and it is a turn-based strategy game. And of course, the reason for this review also coming out at this point is in September we are looking to have our first DLC for the game, which I'll talk a little bit more shortly. So the game comes with 3 campaigns currently, and these are all under the Battle for Normandy, as you can see here. That's the United States, United Kingdom, and a German campaign, each with 9 missions each. Now, these missions will take you anywhere between, say, 20-30 minutes up to about an hour, depending on how fast you attempt to push through them, but they could also go longer if you so made them. Basically, I did all 3 campaigns, and it took me somewhere in the region of 30 to 40 hours of gameplay. So that should give you a rough idea as to how long the game is. As for the actual individual missions on the campaigns, they do have enough variance as well for you not to feel like you're simply rinse-repeating the same mission over and over and over again. There is a pretty decent story, obviously, as you follow the actual campaign that went through Normandy in World War II, and they have made the maps quite variant with a lot of differences, so you actually feel like you're playing different challenges and different scenarios as you go through. Each of these is introduced and exited and also then given new battle orders by a little commander that turns up in the top corner of your screen and tells you what's going on. Now, I personally think the voice acting for this game is really good. You also have sayings and little expressions done when you select soldiers and tell them to do things. Once again, I also think they've done a brilliant job. My favorite, personally, being the British. And that's not a national pride thing, but let's just say some of the accents they've thrown in there I think are hilarious. Unfortunately for me, the German voice acting on your commander, shall we say, that turns up on the top of the screen is a little bit of a letdown for me because he's kind of got a bit more of like a generic accent. They didn't use someone with a German sounding voice for the voiceover of the German commander, which I think is a huge letdown. I could potentially understand why they went and did it, but for me, it is a bit of a disappointment, although it's not a game breaker, but it would have just been nice to have. And then, of course, there is the 3 different factions, which do feel like you're playing different factions. Once again, a really nice thing, because I find it a real shame, you know, when you get through a game, you get halfway through it, and you feel like you're just slogging or rinse and repeating. So you do play the different factions in different styles and against different factions in different styles, because they actually do have different strengths and weaknesses. For instance, obviously the Germans in World War II had the biggest and meanest tanks, and this is very apparent in the game. So you have to work around, if you're using them or attacking them, different tactical play styles. And then, of course, in the campaigns, there was also a lot of features that you would expect to see, and which is really nice that they've gone and put in. You have cover, line of sight modifiers, elevation. It is comprehensive enough to be really interesting, yet not so comprehensive that you will get lost. And of course, they do have a training scenario, which is basically a tutorial under a different name, but this will teach you how to play the game and tell you about the different things that go on. So, if you're worried about a little bit of that learning curve, there is a tutorial. It is well done, and it is very, very handy. And then, of course, with all of these games, you have skirmish mode, which is just you fighting at a random map against computers. I haven't really played this. It's not really my jam, if I'm honest. And there is also multiplayer. Again, not really my jam, but I have heard it is very good. It's not really live multiplayer. It's a bit more like a long-distance game of chess. You do your move, you post it to your opponent, they do your move, and they post it back. It's not so much quite live gameplay, it's turn by turn. However, having looked at the Discord even today, and from when I was myself playing this game a bit more on the campaign when it first came out, it does seem like there is still activity in the multiplayer scene. So even if you joined now, you would still expect to see people playing multiplayer. And of course, then when the DLC comes out, expect a natural pickup. And so, would I personally recommend this game? Yes, I would. And with the DLC coming out, I would also potentially recommend that as well. If it's more of the same, but obviously with varying levels and different scenarios, which hopefully it should be, because obviously Market Garden, which is the DLC they are bringing out in September, was very different to the push on Normandy. So hopefully that will also then have a nice bit of variance in their maps. And also they're only doing 8 missions in the campaign. Now this is nothing to say, oh my god, they've not done 9. But the point is, it's 8 missions. I'd like to think they've had a decent amount of time and they'll have put a good amount of variance into it. So my real hope is that it is well thought out and not a simple hash of one of the previous campaigns that we already have. So I would recommend this game. I would also recommend the DLC when it comes out from what we've seen so far. And so I hope this review has been helpful. I hope you've maybe learned a little bit about the game, and that will maybe help you make an informed decision of do you buy it or do you not. And until we see you again, I hope that you can stay safe, happy, and healthy.